Welcome back. This is Pairs Well Knitting. I'm Jennifer, and this is a knitting podcast all about knitting, yarny adventures, and travel. Thank you very much for joining me today. As always, thrilled that you're here and we get to spend some time together. Today's episode is a more traditional style podcast where we're going to be going over finished objects and whips. Get comfy, get cozy, because they are very folly today. And hopefully you're also knitting something folly or change of season, depending where you are into spring. So we're gonna bounce in. We'll start with what I'm wearing, and I'm going to do a little spin in like the live time here with you as we go to try to be even more efficient on this, what for us Canadians is a short work week. I'm filming on the holiday Monday. Just finished some pie baking. Hopefully it's okay. And some special dinner for us. So what I'm wearing is the Tulip Pullover by Melody Hoffman. This is a very simple but really effective with beautiful detail raglan stitch sweater. We have a 2-stitch raglan that I have talked about this sweater on end in a previous episode, I think 4 back, so if you want to click, with a top-down construction. The unique part of this gorgeous design and beautiful fit, of course, is the hemline. We have a scalloped hem. It is a sweater that I just cannot get enough of. I adore the construction. I love knitting on it. I love wearing it. I'm looking in the viewfinder. Simple, effective, stunner. We love this. So again, details that I have shared, of course, in the past. I encourage you to check out if you're interested. The yarn is an unspun yarn. I love working with and wearing unspun yarn. This is in Hillesvag Forgarn or Forgarn. This comes in big plates that I've showed in previous episodes. Well, I've talked about this exact sweater when I shared about the finished object. And it is a plate that is wound up with 2 strands together. So a really wonderful, I think, option or put up if you can, say for unspun yarn. In addition, because I adore unspun and I think everyone should give it a go if you have given it a go, but don't necessarily love the experience, I encourage you to dive in to another video that I've created that is all about unspun yarn. I'll put the link possibly, I think, in the show notes. I think I can do that. And then that can give you a little stepping stone or encouragement to get started with unspun or make your unspun adventure even more joyous. So there we are. This colorway didn't have a name that I know of. So if you do know the name, please give a shout out. And that is what we're wearing. We're going for like deep, kind of like spooky-ish fall, which I'm enjoying the look today with all the dark and then the like neutral sweater on top. And I really love this sweater. She has gotten so much wear. We are going to move on to my first and technically only finished object that I'm going to share with you. And you're going to see exactly why. And an announcement to go along with this, a hat. We have finished off a little transit knit that I cast on 2 weeks ago maybe, and then interchangeably worked on this, worked on other things, going up to work on the subway. I like having always a knitting project with me, and this was in the leftover unspun yarn by Hillesvag. This is my own design. I really knew what I wanted. I had a vision of a looser but stiff style beanie that would be knit in the leftover unspun yarn. I did some dabbling of kind of stitch pattern that I wanted. I knew I didn't want just stockinette. I knew I wanted it to completely flow down without like additional ribbing or cinching in. I knew the exact look that I had wanted to be on my head as I'm approaching my curly hair years, where we're not cinched in and like really super hugging or tight hugging my cranium, but just comfortably sitting in like a really fashionable, fun way. I also knew that I wanted to feature knit columns that would act as the baseline, if you will, for the eye to be pulled up and to continue into the decreases of the crown. So I really could not find a pattern on Ravelry, in my dabbling, on Instagram, that met my criteria. So we do what we do when we are knitters and don't mind doing math, is like creating my own pattern. This I'm so excited about. I just finished writing up a pattern this weekend. I finished revising the pattern this weekend. It's ready to be tested. It is a hat that, again, I feel like we keep hearing this with knitters, is that we come up with these patterns of simplistic design because of the vision we've had and not having a pattern to meet that vision. So we come up with our own. And that's exactly where this was born. And I feel like, even though it's a really simple pattern, it does have very effective but yet simple details that allow the hat to just sing and allow this specific yarn to shine. This is a 16 stitch gauge count, and I have to say it's really versatile. I put my hair up. Of course I put my hair up because why wouldn't we when we're showing a hat? I'll show you what it looks like on. There we are, the like crazy, messy, curly, wavy bits. And here she is. Like, this is exactly what I was wanting. It's got this like squiddy type bit that I'm adoring. Okay, so right now the name of the hat, I'm calling it, just for simple sake for my files, is the Broken Rib hat, because this is what it is broken rib. So simple. If you are not a massive purler like the knit, purl, and 1x1 rib, this actually technically has less purling, a little less, like 50% of that less, and but still such a cute design. Oh my gosh, I'm looking and I'm like, oh yes. Yeah, so Pairs World Knitting, I'm asking for testers. So I've done 4 sizes in this hat, from what I would say like youth, or like people with small heads, so kind of like this girl, to large circumference heads. This, I feel, is a really versatile pattern. Is totally like anyone, I think, could wear this and rock it. I love actually just pairing it with what I've got on. But of course, it's super cozy and comfy to wear outside in our crisp, gorgeous mornings that we've been experiencing. And yes, so I'm asking for testers. If you click onto the link that is the Linktree link, you're gonna find like a link from there because it hosts everything for a test knit form. So just fill out the form if you're interested. I am so thrilled to report from favorite fingerless mittens that I came up with, the pattern design of 2 weights, worsted and bulky weight. I had 2 separate testing groups. It was a dream to work with the testers. They were gorgeous knitters and lovely humans that we connected with on Instagram. I have the same type of vision happening again for this hat. So if you are interested, I highly encourage you to click into the link tree and then click off into the link, the form, so you can complete the form and test knit. I always feel so funny because it's like, is it real? Is it happening? But she is. So There we are, little hat. The vision that I have for this is that testers knit this up. They give me their amazing feedback that is so valuable, and I apply that into the pattern. The hope is that with the turnaround time that I'm looking at as a hat, this took not a lot of time, probably not. We have a 16 stitch gauge count coming out. Yeah, I think this is going to be like a month max that this will come out. So perfect for winter, late fall, gift knitting, do we say? I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I love it, and I hope you do too. I do want to finish, wrap up with the hat saying, because I've knitted 2 strands held double of unspun, doesn't mean you have to knit this with unspun. And I always look at me like pretending I know all the things, but in my 2 other test knit groups that I've done for Favorite Fingerless Mittens, I really encourage our knitters to choose the yarn that sings to them in combinations of yarn weights that make for the gauge count, which is 16 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. So if it means 2 strands held double of unspun, awesome. It might mean that you're holding an Aran single that's plied, gorgeous. It could mean that you've got a lace weight and a worsted together to meet gauge. I mean, we're the boss of our own knitting, and I love to see the creativity of people, of course, in like applying a pattern to various yarn. So I never want to feel like myself as a knitter, and of course like our testers, I never want you to feel that you have to use the specific yarn that the designer used. You can, but like let's be open with it. So that's that. I thank you in advance for everyone that applies. I'll be in communication with you, of course, via email, and yeah, we'll get moving forward on that. So that is for the broken rib hat. Thank you. I'm gonna leave it on because I feel like my hair is gonna be a bit of a disaster as we press on. So my next thing on my needles, I'm gonna go from like what I'm excited about them all. Like let's face it. But I think what's staring me in the face right now is this. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So this is the Soldotna crop. This is whip. Of course, I'm on the whip tray now. And this was spun up in the Random Wheel of Fun new cast on that happened, goodness, weeks ago. It was in the fall knitting inspiration, fall knitting plans, that I had at the very end after sharing what I felt was like the most gorgeous fall, specifically curated with each specific yarn I had, pattern roundup that I shared. And it was a video that you enjoyed, so thank you. And this was what had come out of the picker wheel, which is a fun but like really silly way of choosing your next knit, where every section of the spinning wheel, like Wheel of Fortune think, that it randomizes those options to come up equally if you know statistics. And this was chosen. This is the Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter, and I have chosen, which I feel is very fall-y colors to cast on with. This actually, as I was knitting on the subway back from the knitting loft yesterday, I had done their little knit circle on Sunday, which was gorgeous. So thank you to Maria and Bruna and all the staff there. And as I was knitting on this on the subway, a gentleman beside me, I could feel him watching me knit. And right before his stop, he leaned in and he said, "I love those colors." I was like, yes. I said, thank you. So happy you like them because I adore them. All of the colors that you see, minus the cream, is HjelholtsUldspinderi Supersoft by, oh no, it's by HjelholtsUldspinderi. Supersoft is the yarn name. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk about this a lot because she's a whip, but obviously doing the color work has been magical. The cream, as I said, was not HjelholtsUldspinderi. This is Soul by Hillesvag, actually. So look at me being the Hillesvag trained. And it's the one that you, our gorgeous knitting community, had voted on the most. I had asked what color option in the video that preceded the fall knitting plans video. I was so torn. I had 3 different color options to use as the cream color, and you chose this cream, this like somewhat micro halo cream. It's not coming up as a halo, but I promise it's there. And I know when I block it, she'll bloom. That's a Solana crop. She's giving me so much joy. And the vision I have for it will be a short sleeve. I don't think I'm gonna make it a long sleeve. I definitely don't have the yarn to make it a long sleeve at this point. That's where she is. The next, I have to share this. The next gorgeous whip that I've been working on at home. She is so close to being done. This is the Gensy. This story, and I just, again, my little knitting heart explodes every time in the best way. Okay, Gensy, I have to backtrack. This is a pattern by Sandnes Garn that is in the book, that is out in the main room, stuff for women. And so it's a physical pattern. This is a quote, like, melange, a mix of different cable work patterns, but truly the only cable you're seeing is this guy. The rest is moss stitch. Again, I feel like I always push this off, but basically I've done heaps of modifications on sizing, on reworking charts, on motifs. Basically, I took out the final motif that they were calling like a wheat kind of motif. It didn't fly with me. And so I incorporated a one by one moss, so a single moss stitch. I blew that into the sleeves and they're stunning. Again, I'm not following, I think, the shaping and designer's vision of this. This is kind of my vision of a super boxy body, a thinner, less ease sleeve. And now where we are is we're working the neckline for like the 3rd time because I just wasn't feeling what I had. I realized, and note to self and others, in my knitting journal, I had included, when I first did this, I knit the ribbing in a US 5. Forgive me on the millimeterage. I'm not there in my brain. But when I did the sleeve, because I was out, of course, as I was knitting, I had only a US 4 needle size. This is what happens when you're out of the house a lot and knitting. So I mimicked, of course, on both sleeves, and I ripped out the neckline, and now I'm doing it with a 4. And I'm really happy, actually, because my ribbing is really loose. The vision I have with this is that I think I will knit quite high and tack it down into a double folded collar. The yarn is just a stunner. It's Handvaerksgarn. The story quickly, and I'm going to share again, I think, full details when this comes into its blocking stage and finished object life, is the last skein was magically and beautifully sent over from a knitter in Norway, Strik Gladfru, and my story. If you are wanting to have your little knitting heart bloom as well and go 3 sizes, I encourage you to check out the video where I share the magical story of working with this knitter when I reached out to the community because I didn't have enough yarn to knit the 2nd sleeve. So there we are. Okay, I feel like I'm very chatty. So this is the Gensy by Sandnes Garn in Handvaerksgarn. There we are. Next and last thing I'm going to share with you, and I do have other things over in, the south end, but I'm going to share this one with you as the last thing. I have been working on what I'm calling the Slipover of My Dreams. I love slipovers. I find I don't have enough of them. Knitting up the Slipover of My Dreams, I really had a vision again of what I wanted. I loved different concepts of different slipovers that I have knit up or seen. And this one is a complete mishmash. I've done so much math and recalculating and ripping things out and redoing it all again. We're at the point where I thought I was done and I was ready to celebrate, but we're not there yet. I will be sharing all about this because I do have plans to make this into a pattern. I feel like this is it's a stunner, and I feel like it deserves to be written up, especially for the amount of time that I've spent knitting this and redoing it. And it's that complete creative redesign that happened with this. It's a knit passion, I would say, for sure. So basically it is almost like I would describe as a knit bib that shields the front and the back from the cool. It has these massive open sides with a I'm calling it like a strap, like a double knit thick banded strap. This is exactly what I wanted, and I'm so proud with how it's turned out here on my body, because I'm a little person, and with everything that was going on with the recalculations, and I actually blocked the neckline didn't get blocked, but the body got blocked. I knit up the tabs on the subway. When I went to put this on my body, I realized how big it was. Should I even show you? Maybe I'm gonna show you with my messy hair and take off my tulip. So again, it's something that I thought I was there and I could start doing a little write-up for this slipover into a pattern, because I'm so excited about it. But I think for me, this is too big. This could act as one specific size. I've got some other ideas for how to close up the sides, and this may not be it. Okay, I'm gonna move my chair. I'm ready to get there. All right, so here's a slipover. So you're like, okay, it's big, but it's not like insane big. But then you get here, and I think it's too much fabric maybe. Like, this is too big, the tab, although it doesn't look insane in the viewfinder. I feel like when I went into the mirror, it kind of like, what's the word? Like rolls a bit. You can see how I feel this needs to be pulled in just a smidge. So I think really all I need to do, I'm bending over, all I need to do is just basically take off one of the tab sides and shorten it. I think that's it. If it could be that simple, we're there. And yeah, I'm really proud of how it's turned out to this point. But I know I can do better. I know I can get the fit to exactly what I'm looking for and what I want. Like, I think reducing the length of the tab will do the trick of what I'm looking for. I'm going to go into all the details in the next video that I share about this with what I've done, because again, it is a passion of knitting where I've tried so many different, I think, styles and design features, and where we've landed, I'm actually really thrilled. I'm really thrilled with how it's sitting. I'm really impressed, actually, like that it's sitting as nicely as it is with you. You know what I think? I think I might have tried this on with just my sports bra and not a blouse underneath. That is very possible. And I usually do these crazy things when, like, post-workout, post-run, and I like try on and I'm like, oh, this isn't right. I mean, it's not, yeah, I think literally, boop, cute. It's cute. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I didn't even share. So this is a sport weight yarn. This is a discontinued Austrian yarn, pretty rustic. And then I've got it with like a leftover mohair from my ranunculus. So in the next video that I share about the slipover, hopefully at that point I will have the tabs sorted out and I'll be able to share what I did. Maybe I will have written up the pattern at that point. I mean, she is making me happy on camera. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's the plan. So I'm not going to bore you yet with the details because we're not there. And that'd be premature, and we don't want to do that. We want to be mature. All right. I think, that is it for my whips that I'm showing you today. It does not mean that there are not a million more whips in this house, because of course there are. But we'll share them another day with you. This slipover will get all of the time shared when I feel that she's sorted to be shared with, when the tabs have been reduced, and I'm able to articulate, I think, the details of the pattern that go along with my vision. I do, as I mentioned, have every plan and knitting wish to write up a pattern, because I feel this is so worthy of a pattern as I'm petting it. She's a delight. She's a delight. And yes, I will close with saying those are the whips I'm sharing with you today. There's a million other whips in the Pairs Wool Knitting household that we are being tight-lipped about, because there's too much. There's too much on the needles, and we are very active in knitting world, which is fabulous. I want to remind you that if you're willing to apply as a test knitter for the Broken Rib hat, please do, and click on the link below that will be in the link tree where you can apply for the test knit. There's going to be a close turnaround time, I'm saying, for test knit applications, and then I think a very healthy amount of knitting time, even though I don't think this really needs it, but just so we can do our very best feedback and knitting, of course, to have this into a gorgeous pattern. So thank you again to those that are interested. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can always send me a DM in Instagram. Yes. Righto. I will leave it there. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I feel like today was high caffeine rambling from my chai tea. So thank you for bearing with me and having patience. And yeah, I encourage you to like and subscribe to the Pairs Wool Knitting channel. That would be gorgeous. If you are feeling even more, I invite you to click on the Ko-Fi link below, where you can prepare a small donation to me. That would be lovely as well. So thank you for that. And thank you to the other knitters in our community that have made donations. I always send a response and a word of appreciation there. So if you haven't seen yours yet, please click on the Ko-Fi link. And yes, I wish you beautiful knitting, happy knitting, joyous knitting, and I hope you're enjoying your fall, your autumn, your fall cast-ons, maybe your change of season cast-on into spring, and until next time, take care.